Om Aim Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Greetings on the first day of Navratri. This day we begin our meditation on Mother Goddess form, which is revealed as Shaila Putri. That is the first form. This name means daughter of the mountain king, Himavan. This symbolizes Parvati ji's primal earth grounded Shakti. In this form, the mother is seated on the bull Nandi and she is holding a trident in one hand and a lotus in the other. The trident represents her power to pierce ego, attachment, and anger, while the lotus stands for the pure heart that remains untouched by the mud of the world. Shailaputri governs the Mooladhara Chakra. This is the stage of basic strength, stability, and also self confidence. Navratri's first day invites us to stop identifying ourselves as feeble or weak and to feel the goddess' energy rising within. As a daily practice, we can mentally meditate, I surrender my sense of helplessness and awaken the inner strength of Shailaputri. This is the first and glorious step of the Navdurga Yoga. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Reem Klim Chamundai Viche, Om Am Reem Klim Chamundai Viche, Om Am Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. The second day of Navratri, meditating on the Brahmacharini form of Maa Durga, Dadana Kara Padmabhyam Akshamala Kamandalu, Devi Prasida Tumai Brahmacharina Nuttama. On the second day, the mother appears as Brahmacharini, the one who walks the path of Brahmacharya or a spiritual discipline. She is dressed simply in white, holding a japamala in the one hand and a kamandalu, that is water pot, in the other. This form teaches us that strength alone is not enough. It must be refined. How? By restraint, regular meditation, and a simple, balanced life. It is said, Vedas Tattvam Tapo Brahma, Ved, Tattva, and Tap are the synonymous for Brahma. The mind becomes clear only when the outer whirlwind of desires slows down. The second day of Navratri invites us to resolve that I will discipline my senses, speak truthfully, and keep my mind turned towards the Lord. Like we see the beads of a mala circling the divine name. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Am Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Om Am Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Om Am Reem Kleem Chamundai Viche. Third day of Navratri, the day to meditate on the Chandra Ghanta Ma Pindaj Pravra Ruda Chandako Pasrakheryuta Prasadam Tanute Mayam Chandra Ghanteti Vishruta. This is third day of Navratri when Mother appears as Chandra Ghanta, the goddess with a half moon bell on her forehead. The sound of this bell dispels fear, negativity, and evil forces that surround the devotee. And in this form, she is riding a lion and holding many weapons in her 10 hands that represent her power to cut through all obstacles. The lion symbolizes courage that has been tamed by devotion, not driven by ego. Chandraghanta Ma teaches us that once the devotee has cultivated inner strength and discipline, the goddess takes over the role of protector. The third day of Navratri is dedicated to dropping fear and trusting that Mother is always with us, accompanying with her strength in all the battles alongside with the devotee. Om Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Fourth day of Navratri, we worship Ma Kushmanda, and this fourth form is very significant also. She is revered as the creative force who brought light into the cosmic darkness and gave birth to the universe through her radiant smile. The name Kushmanda is often explained through three ideas: Ku meaning little, Ushma means warmth or energy, and Anda means the cosmic egg. Together, the name points to the subtle divine energy from which the universe emerged. Ma Kushmanda is usually depicted with eight hands, which is why she is also called Ashtabhuja Devi. In her hands, she carries sacred symbols such as rosary, lotus, bow, arrow, discus, mace, water pot, and a jar of nectar, while riding a lion or tiger, signifying fearlessness and strength. She protects. Spiritually, Ma Kushmanda represents the power of inner illumination. She is associated with the energy of the sun and is described as the source of vitality, health, warmth, and positive life force. Her worship is believed to dispel darkness, remove negativity, and awaken creativity, peace, and courage in the heart of the devotee. In many spiritual interpretations of Navdurga, Ma Kushmanda is also linked with Anahat Chakra, the heart center. This makes her not only the cosmic creator but also the awakener of compassion, harmony, and spiritual expansion within us. Message of Ma Kushmanda is beautiful and direct. When the divine light awakens within, confusion begins to dissolve and life becomes charged with energy, optimism, and quiet strength. Her grace teaches us that even in emptiness, one smile of divine consciousness can bring creation anew. A simple contemplation for this day can be: May Ma Kushmanda fill my heart with light, remove inner darkness, and awaken creative, healing energy in my life. And with that, या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मात्र रूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्ये 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 नमो नमः. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. नवरात्रि के पांचवें दिन स्कंद माता का ध्यान. सिंहासनगता नित्यम पद्माश्रित करद्वया शुभदास्तु सदा देवी स्कंद माता यशस्विनी. So on the fifth day of Navratri, we worship the fifth form of the Divine Mother, Ma Skanda Mata. This name literally means the mother of Skanda, that is Lord Kartikeya. And this form beautifully unites motherhood, compassion, protection, and spiritual maturity. Ma Skandamata is usually depicted as seated on a lotus, which is why she is also called Padmashni, the one who sits upon the lotus. She holds lotus flower in her hands, carries a baby Skanda in her lap, and is also associated with the lion as her vehicle, expressing a rare harmony of tenderness and courage. The child Skanda in her lap is not only an image of divine motherhood, it also conveys that true spiritual power is nurtured in love before it is expressed in action. Skandamata teaches that courage is not born of anger or aggression, but of a heart that has been purified through responsibility, devotion, and care. The lotus here carries a deep meaning also. The lotus grows in the mud, yet remains untouched by it, And so Skandamata reminds us that one can live fully in the world amid duties, relationships, and responsibilities, while keeping the heart inwardly pure and turned towards the divine. In many spiritual interpretations, Ma Skandamata is linked with the Vishuddha Chakra, the throat center. This suggests a stage in the journey where the seeker rises beyond raw struggle and begins to express purity in speech, clarity in thought, and grace in action. Here, devotion matures into wisdom and balances compassion. Another profound dimension of Skandamata is that she is the mother of heroic strength, since Skanda is the commander of the divine forces. His mother is the source from which righteous courage is born. But this courage does not emerge from violence, it emerges from divine love, aligned with dharma. Maskand Mata's message to the devotee is deeply reassuring. When the mother's compassion awakens in the heart, fear begins to dissolve. The mind becomes calm, and even worldly duties start to feel like acts of worship. This reminds us that spirituality always is a source of divine protection, and that comes with maternal grace from Skandamata. We meditate, O Ma Skandamata, fill my heart with compassion, my mind with clarity, and my actions with righteous courage. Teach me to give strength through love and to guide strength with love. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche. Sixth day of Navratri, meditating on Ma Katyayani. Chandrasojvalakara Shardula Varvahana Katyayani Shubham Dadya Devi Danava Ghatini. We worship Ma Katyayani, that is the sixth form of the Divine Mother, and she is the radiant warrior aspect of Goddess, manifesting to protect Dharma, destroy Adharma, and awaken courage within the heart of the seeker. The name Katyayani is traditionally linked to sage Katyayan. According to tradition, goddess appeared through the power of divine tapas associated with him, and later became renowned as the fierce force which destroyed demonic powers such as Mahishasur. For this reason, she is also remembered as Mahishasura Mardini, the slayer of the buffalo demon. Ma Katyayani is commonly shown as a riding lion, symbolizing bravery, majesty, and mastery over fear. She is often seen with four arms holding a sword, one hand a lotus, in another, while the remaining two hands are Abhay and Varad Mudra. The sword represents the power of knowledge that cuts through ignorance and illusion also. The lotus signifies purity and spiritual awakening, and the blessing gestures assures that the devotee will get protection by her grace. Her form teaches us that spiritual path is not only about gentleness, devotion, and surrender. There are moments in life when truth, righteousness, and inner growth requires firm, courageous action and clear decision. Ma Katyayani destroys not only outer evil, but also the inner enemies like laziness, fear, confusion, hesitation, and self doubt. In the inner journey of Navdurga, the sixth day is also associated with Agya Chakra. This is the center of intuition, discernment, and higher vision. It suggests that the seeker is now moving beyond emotional devotion into clarity of perception and spiritually guided action under Ma Katyayani's influence. devotion gains focus, willpower, and a warrior's resolve. Another well known dimension of Maa Katyayani is her special place in the devotional tradition of young girls praying for a righteous and harmonious marriage. In the Bhagavad tradition also, the gopis of Brij performed the Katyayani Vrat with a desire to attain Lord Krishna as their divine beloved. This reveals that Ma Katyayani is not only a fierce warrior but also a guardian of sacred relationships, auspicious domestic life, and dharmic fulfillment. Her message to the devotee is deeply empowering. True courage is not born of anger, but of alignment with the dharma. When the mind is anchored in the divine, one no longer escapes life's battles. One stands for truth with composure, conviction, and grace. Ma Katyayani gives us the strength to face challenges not as victims, but as conscious participants in the unfolding of divine justice. A simple contemplation for this day can be Ma Katyayani. Remove fear, confusion, and weakness from within me. Grant me courage rooted in dharma, wisdom that can recognize truth, and strength that is used only for the highest good. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. Seventh day of Navratri, meditating on Ma Kal Ratri. Ek veni japa karna pura nagna kharastita. Lamboshti karnika karni tailavya shakta sharirini. Vamapadollassalloha lata kantaka bhushana. Vardhanamurdhadvaja Krishna Kala Ratri Bhayankari. On the seventh day of Navratri, we worship Ma Kala Ratri, the seventh and one of the fiercest form of Divine Mother. Her name is deeply symbolic. Kal means time, death, or darkness, and Ratri means night. Together, Kala Ratri is the dark night that destroys fear, ignorance, illusion, and all forces that are opposed to truth. Ma Kalaratri is often described with a dark or black complexion, disheveled flowing hair, three radiant eyes, and a terrifying yet majestic appearance. She is shown riding a donkey, holding a sword and a thunderbolt or iron weapon, while her other hands remain in Abhay and Varada Mudra that assures protection and grants blessings to her devotees. At first glance, her form may appear frightening, but her fearsome appearance is not meant to terrify the devotee. Rather, it reveals a deeper spiritual truth. The divine must sometimes appear fierce in order to destroy deep rooted negativity, hidden fear, and stubborn ignorance. For this reason, Ma Kalaratri is also lovingly referred to as Shubhankari, the auspicious one, because her fierce grace ultimately brings protection, clarity, and spiritual good. In the spiritual journey of Navdurga, the seventh day represents a crucial turning point. By this stage, the seeker has already developed grounding discipline, devotion, strength, and compassion. Now comes the confrontation with the deepest inner darkness, fear, ego, attachment, illusion, and the hidden tendencies that continue to disturb inner peace. Ma Kalaratri is the force that helps the devotee face and transcend this darkness. Traditions also describe Ma Kalaratri as the destroyer of powerful demonic forces such as Raktabij, Shumbh, and Nishumbh, symbolizing the destruction of multiplying negativity and unchecked egoic power. These stories remind the devotee that when negativity stems, it seems impossible to overcome. The Divine Mother reveals a form powerful enough to end even the most terrifying inner and outer battles. In yogic interpretation, Ma Kalratri is often associated with Sahasrar Chakra, which is here, the crown center, indicating a state in which the seeker is pushed beyond ordinary mental limitations and brought face to face with a higher spiritual awakening. This stage is intense because true illumination often comes only after one has passed through dark night of purification. The message of Ma Kalratri is profound. Do not fear darkness, because the divine is present even in the darkness. Do not fear endings, because they prepare the ground for renewal. Do not fear the collapse of illusion, because what is false must fall for truth to shine. Our worship teaches that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move through fear under the mother's protection. For the devotee, Ma Kalaratri offers deep assurance, reassurance. Though she appears fierce to evil, she is infinitely compassionate to those who surrender to her. She removes hidden negativity, protects against harmful influences, and grants the strength to emerge from suffering with greater purity, wisdom, and fearlessness. A simple contemplation for this day can be, O Ma Kalaratri, destroy the darkness within me. Remove fear, illusion, and negativity from my heart and lead me through the night of transformation into the light of truth. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. ओम ऐम रीम क्लीम चामुंडाय विच्चे। दुर्गाष्टमी की बधाइयों के साथ महागौरी माता का ध्यान। श्वेते वृषे समारूढ़ा श्वेतांबरधरा शुचिः महागौरी शुभम तद्यान महादेव प्रमोददा। On the 8th day of Navratri, we worship Ma Mahagauri, the 8th form of Divine Mother. The name Mahagauri means the greatly radiant one, or the supremely fair and luminous one. And this form of goddess symbolizes purity, peace, forgiveness, compassion, and spiritual refinement. Ma Mahagauri is described as resplendent in white garments with a radiant complexion compared to moon, the conch shell, and the white kund flower. She rides a bull often identified as Nandiji and carries a trident and a damru, while her two other hands remain in Abhay and Varada Mudra. Her form reveals that highest expression of divine power is not only fierce and protective, but also serene, pure, and deeply compassionate. According to traditional narratives, Goddess Parvati performed severe austerities to obtain Lord Shiva as her divine consort. Through prolonged tapas, her body became warm and covered in dust. Later, by Shiva's grace and the purifying waters of the sacred Ganga, her form became brilliantly radiant and pure. And she came to be known as Mahagauri. Spiritually, this story teaches that after deep effort, discipline, and devotion, the soul becomes purified enough to reflect divine light. In the inner journey of Navdurga, Ma Mahagauri represents the stage where much of the inner darkness, karmic residue, and emotional heaviness have been washed away. If Ma Kalaratri is intense night of purification, then Ma Mahagauri is the peaceful dawn that follows it. Her presence reminds us that after true inner cleansing, serenity and beauty naturally arise in the heart. The bull, as a vehicle, carries profound symbolism. It represents steadiness, disciplined strength, loyalty, and grounded power. Through this image, Ma Mahagauri teaches that spiritual purity is not weakness or passivity. It is the calm strength of a being who has gained mastery over inner turbulence. The trident and the damru in our hands also carry rich meaning. The trident represents the power to overcome ignorance, ego, and attachment, while the damru symbolizes the cosmic rhythm of creation, harmony, and sacred vibration. In this way, Ma Mahagauri shows that purity is not lifeless stillness, but awakened life aligned with divine rhythm. The eighth day, after celebrated as Mahashtami, holds special significance for devotees. In many traditions, offerings such as white flowers, coconut, milk preparations, and simple sattvic worship are associated with this day. These practices outwardly reflect the inner purity, simplicity, and gentle devotion that Ma Mahagauri embodies. Her message to the devotee is deeply comforting. Purification is possible, renewal is possible, and by divine grace, one can rise beyond the burdens of the past. Ma Mahagauri assures us that no matter how much struggle, confusion, or suffering one has faced, the heart can once again become clear, peaceful, and radiant through devotion and grace. A simple contemplation for this day can be: O Ma Mahagauri, purify my thought, words, and actions. Wash away the remaining impurities within me and bless me with peace, forgiveness, compassion, and simply make me one with your devotion. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche. नवरात्रि का नवमा दिन सिद्धिदात्री माँ का ध्यान सिद्ध गंधर्व यक्षाद्यैर असुरैर अमरैरपि सेव्यमाना सदा भूयात् सिद्धिदा Siddhidaini. So this final day of Navratri, we worship Ma Siddhidatri, the ninth form of Divine Mother. The name Siddhidatri comes from two Sanskrit words. Siddhi means spiritual accomplishment, perfection, or divine attainment, and Datri meaning giver. So, Ma Siddhidatri is revered as the bestower of Siddhis, grace, completeness, and spiritual fulfillment. Ma Siddhidatri is regarded as the final and consummate expression of the Navdurga journey. Over the course of 9 sacred days, the seeker passes through stages of grounding, discipline, devotion, courage, compassion, purification, and fearlessness. On the ninth day, the entire journey reaches its culmination, and the spiritual effort ripens into divine grace. Ma Siddhidatri embodies the state of fulfillment. She is usually depicted seated upon a fully blossomed lotus. Though in some traditions, she is also shown riding a lion. In her forehand, she holds a chakra, shankh, gada, and lotus. The chakra symbolizes clarity of consciousness, and the shankh represents sacred sound, awakening, and the vibration of Om. The gada stands for strength, protection, and the power to destroy ignorance. And the lotus signifies purity, spiritual unfolding. And when we talk about spiritual unfolding, blossoming of higher consciousness is also there. An important spiritual tradition associated with Ma Siddhi Datri tells that Lord Shiva received Siddhis through her grace and was thereby established in the form of Ardha Narishwar, the union of Shiva and Shakti in one body. This symbolism is profound because it shows that Siddhidatri is not merely a giver of powers, She presides over the ultimate harmony where consciousness and energy, the seeker and the sought, the masculine and the feminine, begin to merge into oneness. The word Siddhi should not be understood only as miraculous or supernatural powers. In a deeper spiritual sense, Siddhi means maturity of consciousness, self mastery, insight, peace, devotion brought to completion, and ultimately the realization of the divine. Ma Siddhidatri teaches that the highest fruit of spiritual practice is not the display of power, but wholeness, inner harmony, and abiding in the divine. The ninth day of Navratri, celebrated as Mahanavami, reminds the devotee that whatever is gained through sadhana must never become fuel for ego. Even if divine capacities arise, their purpose is not self glorification, but humble service, compassion, and alignment with Dharma. In this way, Ma Siddhidatri turns attainment into surrender and power into grace. In yogic interpretation, Ma Siddhidatri is associated with the highest spiritual awakening. When the seeker rises beyond limitation and experiences divine bliss, truth, consciousness, and inner completeness. And therefore, Nami is not merely the conclusion of a festival, it is revelation that the final step of the spiritual journey is grace, and the final fruit of grace is union. Her message to devotee is beautiful and profound. Effort is necessary, but fulfillment comes through grace. When the seeker places ego, fear, confusion, and impurity at the feet of the Divine Mother, she reveals the hidden completeness already present within the soul. Ma Siddhidatri teaches that true end of the journey is not acquiring something outside oneself, but awakening to the fullness of the divine within. A simple contemplation for this day can be Ma Siddhidatri, bless me with balance, wisdom, devotion, and inner completeness. Remove the last sense of lack within me and grant me the grace of experiencing peace, fulfillment, and union with the divine in your shelter. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. With prayer for the world peace and harmony, thanks for joining this journey of celebrating nine forms of Maa Durga and seeking her inspiration and invoking her grace. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Daya Rupena Sanstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha.